Hi, I'm Lee Partridge and welcome back to Col U TV. It's our midweek show and we'll be focusing heavily on the academy a bit later on in the show. But first, let's take a look at the highlights from Saturday's game against Stockport. Then we get the views of head coach Ben Garner after the highlights.
Ben, your first game in charge, disappointing defeat, but plenty to build on in what was a very tight game.
Very much so. We're obviously disappointed not to take anything from the game because I think on the balance we deserved a point, particularly in the second half. And again, it's a team at the top end of the division, currently in the playoffs and pushing and doing well. And there's very little in the game there, which is a real positive sign. And some really good elements in the play and great effort and commitment from the players and plenty to build on going into next week.
Yeah, and obviously what people are talking about now is a lack of goals. Is that just a case of keep working and doing the right things and you'll worry more when we're not creating chances?
Absolutely. I think we've had 10, 11 shots. We haven't worked the goalkeeper, but a lot of them were defenders throwing themselves in the way late or it deflecting just over or wide. And we created good opportunities. There wasn't that bit of luck or the opportunity to miss the defender slightly. We just needed that little bit of quality to get the finish. But in terms of the endeavour, in terms of the approach to get there, lots of positives in the play.
Yeah, and sometimes a bit of lady luck does need to go your way. Couple of penalty appeals. I don't know how closely you saw them or what you thought of them.
Yeah, I couldn't see Juniors at the start of the game, really. I haven't seen it back. The one I did think at the time was when Noah hit the shot from the edge of the box and the lad closed it down. He turned his back and it looked like his hand was out, but I haven't seen it back. Listen, one of them would have been great because, like I say, we deserved something. We deserved a point. We competed really well. Some really good periods in the game where I felt we were on top. Started well, and then second half, I thought we pushed, and just needed that goal to get something to show for the performance.
Yeah, and we're in a period of games against teams in and around the top end of the table. You must feel quite positive in the fact that it has been very, very tight, and could have gone either way.
Yeah, I think this run of games, even going back to Carlisle before I came in, and Northampton, and obviously at Bradford last week as well. There's very little in the games, and these are the teams right at the top end of the division, as you say. So we know we're not a million miles away, and we will improve. We will get better with time on the training ground, and we'll obviously try and improve the squad in the summer by recruitment. So there's plenty of positives in there. We need to stay positive. We need to work on them goals and being clinical in the final third and get the results quickly that will guarantee our place in the division. And then we need to start looking up the table and building for next season.
Yeah, and of course, when players lose games, they almost want the next game to come as quickly as possible. But for you, does another clear week of training help?
Absolutely, and hopefully better weather next week as well. Because we've had to be flexible with how we've worked this week and facilities we've had to use. So the weather looks a lot better next week. And from my point of view, the more time we get on the training ground, the better. Really pleasing first week with the players, and I felt we deserve something to show for that. We haven't got it. We roll up our sleeves. We get back to work. And we look forward to a really good game away at Leyton Orient next week.
A frustrating afternoon for everyone and the new man in the dugout there, but plenty of positives to take into this weekend's game against Leyton Orient. Tickets for that one are available to purchase from the U's ticket office. We're expecting a good following, so make sure you get your tickets early. Incidentally, Leyton Orient will be the 5th game on the spin where we've played teams that are in the current top 6. So each of those games have been fairly tight encounters. So there's some positives there as well. Bearing in mind, 3 of those teams may well get automatic promotion this year. Right, on to the academy, as promised. And we mentioned to you last week about the under-21s game against Crewe here on Monday night. It ended 1-1 with Brad Ionvian on target for the U's. Here's the highlights with the thoughts of the under-21 coach, Liam Bailey, to follow.
Liam, bit of a tough one to take with the goal coming so late on tonight.
Yeah, I think the lads are disappointed in the dressing room, and I think they should be. Always tough when you concede late on after having the amount of chances that we had during the game.
And a bit frustrating that you weren't able to put 1 or 2 of those away earlier on.
Yeah, I think we've just had a chat in the dressing room. We had four one-on-ones with the goalkeeper, so I think that's the biggest disappointment, is we've managed to get in behind cleanly, get the one-on-ones, but not able to get one over the line.
But it is positive that you are creating those chances in the games.
Yeah, I think with if you look at the players that we've got on the pitch, Brad's in great form. I think he's 11 goals since the turn of the new year. You got Khan, who will always take a chance, and Danelle and Oscar, I thought were a threat as well attacking. So we expect to create chances, but disappointed not to take them.
And you mentioned Brad, he's in fine form at the minute. It was a fine finish from him up the other end.
Yeah, brilliant. He's doing a lot away from the rest of the group in terms of his finishing and stuff like that. So it's good to see him get goals, but get a variety of different goals. I think that's the pleasing thing.
And it's good to see some of the other lads coming on, Kai Redgrave and Casey Parrish getting game time as well.
Yeah, so Casey's obviously spent a lot of time at Malden and Tiptree on loan. A decision to come back and try and get a little bit more 21s football, so it was good to see him. And then it was, again, Kai's chipping in with some sub appearances and making a little impact. I thought he was good when he come on. But my mention would go to Jaden Drakes-Thomas and Liam Bello, who have hardly played a football this year, and they've got an hour and 75 minutes respectively into their legs, which was good.
And you've got another couple of home games coming up next week, so a bit of rest into the boys and go again next week.
Yeah, that's it. Two games next week at Malden, Tuesday, Friday. So yeah, a bit of rest of this week, and we'll put some good work in over the weekend and be ready for those games.
cracking strike from Brad there. And although it was a frustrating evening, it's another point on the boards for the under-21s. And as Liam mentioned there, it's been a positive start for the year for him, for Brad, with 11 goals and counting. You never know, maybe knocking on the door of the first team soon. Let's hope so. We're starting a new feature with the Academy. We've put together the best goals from the under-21s and 18s games in February. You can vote for your favourite a bit later on. All the details will be on our socials. But let's take a look at those goals. Some brilliant strikes there. And as we've said, keep an eye across our socials and you can go and vote for your favourite for the Academy Goal of the Month for February. There's a couple of games for the under-21s next week with the youngsters hosting both Millwall and Watford at Malden Stadium. Tuesday against Millwall is a 1 p.m. kickoff and Friday against Watford is an 11:30 a.m. kickoff. The first team are at Leyton Orient, of course, on Saturday with the U's welcoming Peterborough to the training ground this weekend too. And ironically, the U's played Peterborough yesterday in the Professional Development League Cup semi-final. So unlucky to lose there, conceding a goal so late on in injury time there for the under-18s. But let's take a look at the highlights with the reaction to follow.
Elliot, you've had a bit of a whirlwind couple of weeks. How gutting is that to lose the semi-final in that fashion?
Really, really disappointing for the players. It means the world to try and reach a final. I thought we were good today, without being probably at our best. And you know, in cup football, there has to be a winner. And I just felt, I said to the staff during the game, it would be one chance or one goal maybe that wins the game. Unfortunately, it was for them in the last minute. And it just obviously gave us no time to really react to it and try and get an equaliser. But yeah, obviously really disappointing for the players. They've been brilliant to get to this stage. They won the group convincingly. Played some good teams to get to this stage. Unfortunately, we can't go one step further.
This tournament has been really good for the 18s. They've played some amazing football, especially that last group game against Oxford. How proud are you of them?
Yeah, really proud, and I said that to them after. I think it's important that we learn from this. It's going to feel like the end of the world for them, but we have to use it as fuel because we played Peterborough in 3-4 days' time. But they've been brilliant through the group stage, and I don't think people expected them to get through. We've done it in great style, especially in that Oxford game. I think it was really good. So I'm really proud of them, and that doesn't change because we lost. I think I said to them, no matter what happens today, I still love them the same way. I still think they're really good players. It's just unfortunate how it ended.
Is it now time to lick the wounds and full steam ahead for Saturday, Florence Park? Same thing? Yeah, of course. I think we have to recognise that this is the highs and lows of football. I think we watched Peterborough celebrate, and every right to do so as well. And we have to learn ready for Saturday, but also for the rest of the season. We've still got 8 games to try and finish as high as we can in the league. It's really important that we stay focused on that.
Commiserations to the under-18s losing so late on in the game by that single goal in added time. But let's not take it away. They did really well to make it to the semi-finals, but just wasn't to be for them in that game. That's nearly it from me. Just to remind you to head to the ticket office if you want your tickets for Orient at the weekend. And if you are going to the game, safe journey to and from the game. I'll be back next week on the Midweek Show, hopefully talking about goals, hopefully talking about points for us here at Col U. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.